So the two main engines now, which has been opened up by the series this year, are the Spice Volkswagen and the HWA, formerly badged as Mercedes, but now it's badged as a HWA engine. They're both very equal, you know, but the engines have been reduced power from last year, and you know, maybe the Volkswagen has a slight advantage over the Mercedes, but you know, there's work going on to make sure that doesn't carry on. You know, it was exaggerated in qualifying at the last race in Austria. Maybe a little bit of altitude played a part, but you know, we fully expect that the GT organisation will come back to it and make them equal again, because the engines, they've had such a good pedigree and history of being equal that it will carry on. But yeah, the Petrofica engine is still part, you know, there's a mainstay of the championship for a long period, but they opened it up to the more modern generation of engines, and there's not many Petroficas left now, you know. So there is basically a Volkswagen HWA battle. So,
and why did you opt for HWA?
Been with HWA since 2006. Got a great history with them. I like the product. It's reliable. The people there offer great support. Yeah, and I trust and believe in the product that they put out. They've never done us any wrong at all. Always supported us to a position that has been outstanding, I think, you know, and I like the people. And I still think it's the best engine. Again, qualifying was not as good as could be expected, and so we had one race where we were less competitive than, you know, we had a bad race, the first race there, and the second race, Linus got nearly tipped over at the bus stop, and with a severely damaged floor. He had a great race, came back last, finished 6th or 7th, I think, you know, but overtook a huge amount of cars and was on scintillating form, you know, and I think it gave him some good confidence, that race, to, right, you know, get head down and keep working. And even in adversity there, where you think everything's gone, just, you got to keep pushing all the time, you know, just, so I really like that about Linus. He just never gives up, and it was a fantastic race, you know, it was really enjoyable to watch. And days like that, where you come from last to 7th, sometimes are better than starting second and winning, you know, because you feel that, that was really good race. So he did a good job. The potential is unlimited, you know. I know he's an exceptionally good, talented driver, you know. So, you know, he won a championship with us in British Formula 3 that isn't an easy championship, and you see the people who've won it before, or people who've competed in it before and not won it. Hieatt, Norris, you know, Matthias Least, Tingtom's done it, you know, Enam, Armhead done it. You know, it's a good place to judge performance, and Linus is top of his game, you know. And this championship, driving the Formula 3 car, will only make him a better driver, you know. He's learning valuable skills that will carry him on for the foreseeable future, whether it's, you know, Formula 2, IndyCar, Indy Lights, anything, you know. He's fully equipped to move on to the next championship, and I will do my very best to make sure he gets a good seat in it, you know, because he deserves it. Yeah, we were good, competitive. I think we finished 5th in both races, you know, and it's not where I want to be, but it was still good results. You know, we overtook people, and you know, which isn't easy at Hungary. You know, there were four or five motorpark cars there. I think the Carlin, Fortec. You know, we're battling against some really strong teams. You know. So I was happy with the performance there, you know. Always wanted a little bit more, but it's the first time there as a team for a long time. You know, Motorpark have been competing in FIA Formula, you know, won Macau the last 2 years, so that's where I'm judging myself as against the team. And we're not quite there yet, but we're closing it down, and we just still have to keep pushing to get better. And you know, we're getting there, you know. Austria, the last race, we were 3rd and 4th. On the grid, good team performance, but still we need a bit more. Oh God, you know, we could talk for hours on this subject, but I'm in the camp where, at this part of the motor racing industry, we're here to develop drivers and give the drivers mileage to become the ability to become professional drivers. And this Dallara 312, which next year will morph into the Dallara 320 with the halo, in my opinion, is the best place for drivers to learn and come and get mileage. You know, with Linus and Jack, we'll do 10, 11,000 kilometres this year on a good mixture of circuits and good test days, wet and dry. And when they leave the team, they will be better drivers. There's no doubt in my mind that we would have brought them on. So when they come to the next level, they're better equipped than some of the other formulas that are out there. You know, the car and Dallara, I fully respect and understand Dallara's position with F2 and let's call it the new F3. You know, formerly GP3. The cars are built a different philosophy than what the Formula 3 car is that we use. Dallara, it's a nimble, fantastic car honed in the wind tunnel, and it produces lap times which are hugely sort of overachieved for the power and price, and it's just a great formula. You know, it's overtaking. There's no DRS, there's no artificial aids. It's pure race driving, and I think the drivers really appreciate driving this car. You know, I've never, in a long time, never heard anybody not like the experience of driving this car. And for next year, with Hieatt Pareca's pushing and Japan pushing their F3 cars, Dallara have responded with a new car to have new safety standards with the halo, but built in a way that isn't the cheapest car in the world, but it's also one of the lightest cars in the world. So the ethos of Dallara's stuff, you know, lightness, Colin Chapman, everything else, people in the world need to come back to somewhat lighter race cars, you know, because they're race cars, not light trucks or anything. You know, we're not like sports cars. You know, some of the weights for the cars now are plus 700 kilos, which not so long ago was a sports car. And the Dallara next year will still be able to finish the race comfortably at 580 kilos. And hence the engine's smaller, the brakes are a bit smaller, the fuel tank's a bit smaller. So we're still creating this lovely nimble car, which is, I think, what racing drivers like to drive. It's a good feeder championship for anything in the world. The circuits they run on, including Po, you know, seven Grand Prix circuits. It's all top quality stuff. So the drivers are fully equipped if they move up to F2. And I think probably one of the logical places to jump from this car is to F2, you know, because it's probably got more downforce that this car has got. You know, it's a shame that this car isn't going back to Macau, and the new stroke GP3 F3 car is going. I'm not ultimately sure that's a wise decision. And Barry Bland probably will be turning in his grave with this decision, because you know, the circuit was always special for 2-litre F3 cars, and but you know, I understand why the FIA pushing it and everything else, but still, this Dallara F312 is the car for Macau.